Good day, everybody. My name is Keith Martin. I'm the Executive Director of the Consortium of Universities for Global Health in Washington, D.C. And welcome to our ongoing series of webinars from the Consortium about all range of issues in global health. We are delighted today to be joined by two student members who work with CUGH in being able to do a number of things to make sure that students are able to have input in what we do at CUGH, and that we're able to engage the student population on issues that are important to you. So CUGH is a consortium. We have 169 institutions around the world, and we work across research, education, service, and advocacy to be able to improve the lives of people's health and also the health of the planet around the world. So I'm delighted today to be joined, as I said before, by two student members. The first is Jessica Waters. Jessica is a third-year medical student at the University of Iowa. She has her MPH in 2012, and she's worked on public health projects in Iowa, Haiti, and East Timor. Jessica would like to be matched to emergency medicine, and currently she is a CUGH Campus Representative. We'll tell you more about that, or they will, shortly. The next is Anthony Mai. Anthony is a second-year medical student, again at the University of Iowa. And he's worked in global health projects in Mexico, Vietnam, Peru, and India. Anthony would like to work on sustainability and improving capacity at a community level. Anthony is a member of the Trainee Advisory Committee. So we're delighted, and much thanks to Jessica and Anthony for running this webinar. And I'm going to hand it over to Jessica and Anthony right now. Jessica, over to you.
Awesome. Hi, guys. So we're here to talk a little bit about the Campus Representative Program and how you can become a campus representative. So just a little bit about what a campus representative is. And these campus reps are basically the main link between CUGH members and the institutions that you guys are a part of. So campus reps act as the eyes and ears of CUGH and the Trainee Advisory Committee by identifying student interests and needs, and then reporting those back to the TAC and to CUGH. And then at the same time, they act as the hands by helping to mobilize students in different efforts that we can do at the institution and individual level. And then also, CUGH is here to help find resources for students and campus representatives, and likewise help connect students to each other as well.
All right, so next we're going to talk about just, what are the responsibilities that a campus representative has. So the first bullet point here, be the primary liaison between your campus, student population, and CUGH's Trainee Advisory Committee. So first we're gonna tackle the Trainee Advisory Committee, what that really is. I'm gonna call it TAC for short. So this is a CUGH committee of 25 trainees from various fields and interests, all working together to provide a trainee perspective on global health matters. And the TAC group has various responsibilities, from kind of conference planning for the big CUGH conference to other smaller projects like, mobilizing students for advocacy events. So we need all of your help to let us know what is important to you and what is going on around in your community. And here is where you can play a very vital part to bridging the communication between TAC at CUGH and your own institutional community. So you can let us know about things that your peers need and what is going on there. And in return, you can also access resources that we have in our own network. So the next bullet point here is sharing CUGH and TAC projects with local students interested in global health. So outside of the big conference that CUGH has, CUGH and TAC is also working on projects throughout the year too. And so these are some examples that I have for CUGH is developing a website where organizations and institutions can enter in resources that they have and resources that they need, so we can start matching them up. So we can have places that can provide a certain service to places that need it. Another example is CUGH is cataloging educational resources in global health. So things like training materials, these things will be available to our members, and you can access it if you want to plan things in terms of global health trips and things like that. On the TAC side, we're managing a social media platforms. So that would be Facebook, Twitter, and we're sharing kind of news about what's going on out there, things about how you can get involved. So this is a way for us to just start kind of getting awareness out. The TAC is also continually updating kind of like a global map of campus representatives. And this will allow you to kind of triangulate where people are in terms of institutions, who you can connect with, who's close to you that you can talk to and kind of work on projects together. So our next bullet point here is help mobilize your student body to support CUGH and TAC advocacy efforts. So our advocacy efforts will center on topics relevant to you and us and all trainees in general. So things that are like gun control, healthcare, research funding, student debt, and we're going to explain how you can get more involved in this later. So next is provide ideas for, next is gather campus students' feedback about advocacy issues important to them. So like we had said earlier, we really want to know what is important to you and what is going on around your institution and your community and what you guys want to know about. So our agenda is pretty fluid and will continually evolve according to issues that arise. So we really want you to keep us updated about what is going on. So this is definitely a two-way street of communication, and we really want to hear back from you. Next bullet point is to provide ideas for solutions to various global health issues. So in this TAC CUGH, we have this big network of campus representatives, and we really want to utilize that network so that you can share with us achievements, projects, research findings, whatever it is. You can share that to us, and we will broadcast those things that are happening to everyone within our network so they know what you're working on. We hope that this can really facilitate more discussion, crosstalk between everyone, so we can move forward to solving some global health issues that are in front of us. Lastly, create and maintain a list of contacts of students and student groups interested in global health to facilitate information sharing and development. So you as a campus representative can act as a focal point for global health organizations and even just individuals in your institution all interested in global health. So we all know that there are many different student groups and many people just floating around all interested, but you as a campus representative can tie all those voices together and communicate with us TAC members here and CUGH in general. This is really important because we know, for example, there are people in the medicine department, in the engineering department, public health, and they're all in these separate silos and people aren't really talking to each other. So you can play a very vital role in bringing all of that together. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica over here.
So benefits of being a campus representative, I think there are a lot, I say as a campus rep. The first one is being the face of the world's biggest academic global health organization on your campus. You will be the focal point, you will be the point of contact between your institution and CUGH. And like Anthony said, helping to connect all the different people at your university who are interested in global health projects, not necessarily just within your personal trainee program, but like Anthony said, branching out and connecting people between schools of engineering and law and public health, the undergraduate schools, medicine. You know, that is one of the big parts of being a campus rep, is helping to coordinate and connect all of those people. And then you have a direct line to CUGH and the TAC to make those individuals' needs known, and also help relay, thoughts, suggestions, really, like Anthony mentioned, a two-way street, and you kind of are the street. And then also possible involvement in organizing global health activities on campus. One example of that is showing films. We can send out global health films, and if students at your institution are interested in showing them, we can help facilitate that. You can put on events like that for the different student groups at your institution, which is really helpful for a lot of people who are interested in global health. You can help coordinate guest speaker events, awareness weeks for certain issues, fundraising campaigns, local conferences, and as a campus rep, you can communicate with other institutions across the world to see what they're doing for ideas and interests that you all have in common. You can also network with students and professionals who are active in global health on your campus and also outside of your campus, which is a big benefit of being a campus rep, is that your network will expand dramatically. You will be connected to people all over the world who are active in global health. And TAC's vision is really to create a worldwide collaborative network through campus representatives. Like Anthony said, we maintain a map of where everybody is. So if you can visualize, everybody, all the campus reps being dots on that map and everybody being connected, it's really a powerful network, especially in terms of connecting people to resources and opportunities. So hopefully this network will facilitate information sharing, discussion throughout all of our member institutions. And then through that network, you can also access CUGH's resources and each other's resources, hopefully. The scope of global health is really big, and hopefully we can use this to make that world feel a little bit smaller and connect all of you that way. Another benefit is the ability to use the CUGH Young Speakers Bureau. We hear a lot from institutions that people are interested in having speakers come and want to be connected to people who would be able to come speak at their institutions. And as a campus representative, you would have access to a list of speakers from around the world that you can tap into if you're seeking someone to come talk on a specific area. So access to that can be really helpful in providing speakers for groups on your campus. And then if your institution is not a CUGH member at the institution level, as a campus representative, you would have free individual membership during your service term, which gives you discounted conference attendance and all sorts of other benefits. So that's a good benefit as well. You also would have subscription to CUGH's Global Health Bulletin. You would get monthly updates on global health activities around the world. And you also have access to those members-only online global health interest groups and discussion boards. Again, just really widening networks as much as we can. And then, of course, access to all of CUGH's educational and program development materials. And Keith, I think it's over to you now.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, Jessica and Anthony. That was fantastic. And just to reiterate for everybody who's online right now, to understand, we at CUGH really created the structures of the TAC, as was mentioned before, and the campus representatives to find a way in which we can have really better collaboration with students to learn about the needs of students, as was mentioned by both Anthony and Jessica, but also for us to be able to collaborate, I think, in two great areas. One are making sure that as students you have the tools and the knowledge you need to be able to advance in your careers. At CUGH, we do a number of things. We run workshops, other webinars. We have a webinar coming up later this month with the Lancet Global Health editor, Zoe Mullen, and she's going to provide a webinar on how to write to get published and how you can get published in this new environment. The other thing really deals with issues important to students. So things like affordability, equity, access, debt, and others. These are issues vitally important to you. And at CUGH, we want to make sure that we are knowledgeable about what those issues are, and that know from you as a student what the solutions are. No one will know better than you in terms of what you endure and some of the solutions that could be adopted to be able to address those concerns. So this is a learning opportunity for us at CUGH to learn from students in terms of A, what the needs are, and importantly, what the solutions are to be able to deal with those challenges. So that's one big bucket of issues. The second one, which was mentioned by Jessica and Anthony, are global health challenges and how we can work with the student population and work with you to empower other students to be able to work together with us to be able to address those issues. And one that was mentioned before was, for example, gun violence. So how do we deal with gun violence in the United States? And there's a huge student movement, as we all know, to be able to deal with that. CUGH would like to work with that movement, empower that, help to contribute to that movement to deal with that challenge. And of course, there are international issues abroad. There was a very good point that was made up, and I think for those of you who are around the world, that you know that those particular issues that are affecting you are important to CUGH too. So we would like to make sure that we have campus representatives in institutions all around the world, and that you inform us of issues important to you as a student, and also global health issues that you see in your countries and in your regions. And that way we truly have a global health network of students working with students and non-students to be able to deal with those challenges. Jessica, could you advance the last slide, please? Last couple of slides, please, just to show those points. And for those of you who are on right now, know that this webinar is going to be up on the CUGH website next week, so you can look at it, you can share it, and please contribute to the effort of both Jessica and Anthony in their respective work as a campus representative, as well as the Trainee Advisory Committee. We're only as good as what we know and what we are able to do. So by working together, we'll be able to improve the lives of people around the world, and also be able to, and the environment, and also be able to, importantly, address issues very specific to students. So I'm going to just conclude right now. I'm going to turn it over to Karen, who's going to moderate the questions right now. And then at the end of that, I'll come back and again thank Jessica and Anthony for doing this, and for you for actually tuning into this particular webinar. So please consider, if you're becoming a campus representative, you can have, by the way, more than one campus representative in your institution. And this way we can build a network of students. I would just add one point in terms of actionable issues. There are things you can do to be able to attract a core group of people in your university. And here's a few things to consider. One is, we know that there are a lot of campus groups in the university that are involved in global health issues, whether it's maternal health, child health, whether it's gun violence, dealing with the gag law, the Muslim ban, infectious diseases, HIV/AIDS. Find out who the leaders of those particular groups are, and develop a roster. And that way we can connect to them and work with them on issues important to them and to us, because they're all global health issues. The second thing are, we have specific issues we work on at CUGH. One, for example, is the deliberate targeting of health workers in conflict zones, like in Syria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Yemen, Afghanistan, and others. There's a movie one of our member colleagues put together called The New Barbarianism, and it showcases the particular issues that this horrible human rights abuse taking place right now. So you can take that particular film, and we have the connection and the link to it on our website, and you can show it on your campus. And in this way, you can inform students and faculty and others about the issue, and mobilize them to take action locally and nationally and internationally in this movement we have to try to protect our colleagues our healthcare colleagues who are working to try to save lives in conflict zones, but are being targeted in the most heinous fashion. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jessica and Anthony. I will ask one question, though, people have posed, and that is, can you tell us what the difference is between a campus representative and a member of the Trainee Advisory Committee? And after that, Karen is going to take over, and she will pose the questions to Jessica, Anthony, or myself. So Jessica and Anthony, please tell us the difference between a campus rep and a member of the Trainee Advisory Committee.
Yeah, well, as a campus rep, I think we were alluding to it a little bit before, but you're really sort of on the ground at the institution level. I would maybe describe it as grassroots, but you are really out there putting the work in, connecting people at the individual level, and then helping to connect individuals and student groups to the larger, CUGH organization through the TAC. So as a campus rep, you can act sort of as an intermediary, relaying individual student needs, suggestions, interests, and really helping to contribute to the TAC and CUGH's knowledge of what trainees are interested in doing as part of larger global health efforts, and also what you need in order to accomplish those efforts. And I think Anthony can talk a little bit about the TAC.
So just to rebrush up on what the TAC is, like the campus reps are all these dots on the map out here, and I can see the TAC is kind of like the hub of it where everyone kind of talks through. And the TAC is just a group, again, of 23 trainees, just like yourself. And we kind of work with CUGH. We're kind of like this branch of CUGH. So some of us also work with other CUGH's projects like education, capacity building. And one of our own projects is the campus representative thing that we're doing here. So yeah.
Hopefully that answers that question.
Yep.
And really quickly, before we move on to other questions, I want to talk about how to connect CUGH. There are lots of different ways. CUGH.org is the organization's website, obviously, but there's also a Facebook page, facebook.com/CUGH News, and then we're active on Twitter at CUGH News, which is the big overarching CUGH organization Twitter handle, as well as TAC's own Twitter handle, which is CUGH _TAC. And then there's a YouTube channel as well, which is CUGH TV. So those are all really great ways to connect. And then if you are interested in becoming a campus representative, which I hope you are after our enlightening webinar today, we would like you to get involved by emailing either myself or Anthony. We're trying to coordinate all of you guys and all of you future campus reps together and get everybody connected and all the information you need as well. So we can definitely keep taking more questions now.
A question I'll pose to both of you that's come in before Jessica and Anthony are some of the obstacles that you find in terms of being able to engage with students across the campus. What advice can you give to prospective campus representatives on what they can do to be able to engage other students?
So that's actually something that I'm working on right now at my own university, which is trying to connect people across different colleges at the university. And I think right now what has been helpful is identifying who coordinates individual student health groups. So like different programs, law, engineering, undergraduate program usually have someone who is there and able to coordinate a little bit of the global health group's activities, or at least they know who the heads of those groups are, and getting in touch with those people who can then connect you to other student health groups within those, I think Anthony called them silos.
Yep.
is really helpful in making sure you know who all the active players are on your campus or your institution. And so, yeah, really identifying who knows the most is helpful. And then you can get down to the individual level after you figure out who is the person who is, I don't know, the point person, or who's really trying to coordinate all those different student groups. I think that's probably the most helpful in getting in touch with everybody and then getting everybody else to connect. And so next steps here will be trying to create a platform for everybody to connect once you've identified everybody and figured out how to get everybody in the same place.
You totally hit it, so I don't have anything to add.
Great.
Well, thank you, Jessica and Anthony and Keith. I hope you folks can hear me. This is Karen Lamb with CUGH coming in to moderate the Q&A portion. So we do have quite a few questions from our audience, and one of them, this one I'll ask you, Keith. Someone wants to know. All right, I'm currently at a school that does not have a big global health program, but there is a group of students interested in organizing a Global Health Week to showcase our work and to promote our Global Health Campus. Do you have any resources, suggestions? You know, how can CUGH, how might it be able to help us? How can we get our events involved? Keith, why don't you start?
That's a great question, Karen, and I'm going to just shoot it over to Jessica and Anthony in a second, because they can share what happens the day before a conference. So the day before a conference, CUGH runs a lot of satellite sessions. They're half to full day sessions on various issues. And one of those is a half-day global health session run by and for students. So I would invite the person to contact Jessica and Anthony through their email. But go ahead, Jessica and Anthony, tell them a little bit more about the TAC Student Day, because that could be a great model for the questioner to run on their campus.
Yeah, so you want to talk about it?
No, I'll just briefly. So this day before is created and moderated, hosted by TAC members. And the subjects that we talk about really is throughout the entire year before is kind of curated from interests that are brought up by all of you and us, and things that are important to us trainees. So they're really centered at us trainees rather than just everyone else. So this is a great opportunity for you to raise your voice, for you to get involved, and just to kind of like push forward what is important to us, like I said.
Yeah, this year at the conference, the theme was advocacy, because from last year's conference, a lot of the feedback that came back was, you know, students really wanted to know how to advocate for certain issues on campus. So the day before the conference, you know, we had multiple speakers and some workshops about how to advocate for certain issues and really working through you know, different methods of advocating for, you know, certain issues. And I thought it was really great. But as a model, I think it's really useful to use that in terms of getting in touch and doing a survey of what the people on your institution want to get out of you know, a Global Health Awareness Week or an event that you're talking about putting on, and then really catering to that. I think that was how the Student Day worked for CUGH this year, and I thought it was a really helpful way to go about things.
Mm-hmm. And one more thing to add too is, I think the question was also asking about, you know, how do you do events at the local level with, like, if we have any resources to provide. And sometimes we might not have all the answers, but because of the network that you are going to be a part of, you can always talk to and contact other institutions, find out what they're doing, and then see what works for you too. So, you know, we don't have all the answers, but we're trying to build this kind of global mind where we can all talk to each other and really collaborate.
Yeah, you're all a resource to each other.
That's great. Thanks, Jessica and Anthony. Karen, more questions?
Great, thanks. So we have a number of questions about process and the application process more specifically. If Jessica and Anthony, you can tell us in the audience a bit more about how the procedure works, number one, and number two, how do we figure out whether our university already may or may not already have a representative in place?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
You can email us to find out if your institution already has a member in place. We keep track of that. We have a roster of all the campus representatives. So that might be the easiest way, is to shoot me an email and we can look to see if you already have a campus rep at your institution. And the application process is pretty simple. You can just apply online, and then we'll get back to you with a survey, basically a welcome survey. We ask about some basic questions about what your institution is looking for, what activities are already going on in your institution, things like that. But it might be a little bit different institution to institution. At the University of Iowa, we had sort of a nomination process for this position, but not every university has that. And so unless you can, I think the best way would probably be to go through, if your institution is a member, there's a point of contact for your institution, and talking to that person, whether it's through the College of Medicine or the undergraduate campus, would be one of the best ways to figure out how they want to go about the campus representative position at your school.
So just to kind of, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Just to kind of go off on that real quick, why Jessica talked about that point of contact is because typically after we find out who's going to be a campus representative, we'll tell that point of contact person, oh, these are the new people who have joined, so that everyone can start to get to know each other and actually have a group. Because before, sometimes the point of contact didn't get updated and they just didn't know who in their community was a campus representative. So we're definitely going to try to make things more transparent to everyone involved.
And you can find out if you're a member, if your institution is a member of CUGH by going on to CUGH.org. And there's a really nice under members, and then you can see which institutions are CUGH members. And it's also important just to emphasize that you can have more than one campus representative. In fact, we really encourage more than one campus representative, because we want to build a small team, as Anthony and Jessica just mentioned, that can work together as one global brain, as it were, and that network that we're trying to build. So create more and have more campus reps. That's the message. Karen, over to you.
Thanks, that's helpful. Thanks. So Keith, we have a number of questions for you here in regards to institutions represented through this program. Some of us want to know how many reps can we have per school, how many reps are selected per year, and if you can speak to that, that'd be great.
So thanks, Karen. So campus representatives, as we just mentioned, you can have as many campus representatives as you want. TAC is a little bit different. So Anthony is a member of the TAC, the Trainee Advisory Committee, and you can only have one TAC member per institution, but there's a limited number of spots available on the TAC, and you can have up to 20, I believe. So only 20 institutions are represented, and we want to have a diversity of disciplines on all of our committees, including the TAC. So we have a range of medical and non-medical disciplines on the TAC. And campus reps, as many as you want. Right now we have approximately 61 campus representatives. They're really all in the United States, and we would very much like to have campus representatives in our institutional members overseas. So please, if you're not in North America, please join and become one of the first campus representatives outside North America. Karen, over to you.
Thanks. Jessica, Anthony, so we have some viewers with us right now who are not attending schools that are CUGH members. So the question is, if my school is not a member, how can I be a rep, or may I at all?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be a representative. We would love you to be a representative if your school is not or your institution is not a member. And if one of the benefits we talked about of being a campus rep is that if your institution is not an institutional member, you get free institutional or free individual membership in CUGH, which is a really good incentive to be a campus rep at your institution, other than, to help connect people to global health resources. But the application process is the same. You can still sign up online. Just let us know that your institution is not a member, and we will get you connected to all of the right information. And we would love to have you as a campus representative.
And you can even start the process of getting your institution to becoming a member too.
Absolutely.
As a campus representative.
Great, maybe I'll join. So more questions about the logistics of it all. How long is a term, and how often do the campus reps meet with one another, with the coordinator, with TAC members?
So,
Keith, is there a defined term limit for campus reps? I don't think we have one defined.
No, there aren't term. It's a great question. There aren't term limits for campus representatives. Right now we're building the program, so that will happen, and there are limits on the TAC, but right now there aren't limits on campus reps. So you have to be, though, obviously an active student. Once you graduate, you cease to be a campus rep or a TAC, obviously. But we'll put in some term limits in the near future. It's a great point that you've made. The TAC, we hope, the TAC convenes at our conference every year. They have a meeting, and of course they have the satellite session I mentioned. Next year, the conference, by the way, is going to be in Chicago from March 8th to the 10th, with the satellites on March 7th. The theme will be translation and implementation for impact in global health, and we sure hope that you can make it. That would be a good time for the campus representatives to be able to come together and convene at the conference too. So those are really the conference will be the time for both TAC members and campus reps to have a face-to-face meeting.
But in terms of campus rep meetings throughout the year, we don't have a standardized or scheduled meeting plan for campus reps. You guys can constantly interface with Anthony and I. We're always available to answer questions. And like I said, our hope is that you will be constantly in communication with other campus reps at other institutions through multiple social media platforms as well. And we're looking at creating sort of like a Google flow sheet way to connect campus reps to each other and update both CUGH as well as other campus reps on what you're doing on campus. So the hope is it would be more of a continuous communication rather than having set meetings, because we're all busy. We're all doing lots of stuff outside of our involvement with CUGH, and we really just want to know what you're doing, when you're doing it. And yeah.
So one of the cool ideas that we have for the future is using this map of campus representatives. Is we can see, okay, who's all in the Northeast region, who's all on the West Coast, and you can start coordinating like regional meetings to like kind of go together, attend local conferences you want to, or even invite community representatives around your state to a conference you're holding or awareness week you're holding, whatever it is. We can help you with that. You can coordinate yourself, but basically we can start having regional meetups between groups and start really having this collaborative discussion between like different places everywhere. So again, no, we don't have set meetings and like very rigorous schedule, but we want this to be a continually growing and evolving process of talking back and forth.
Yeah, we want you to be active on campus and keep us posted on what you're doing.
And we'll create a platform that the campus reps can actually communicate with each other. So we'll set that up in the next few weeks. So there'll be a platform for all campus reps to be able to communicate with each other.
Great. Jessica and Anthony, can you let us know the following, and then I have a question to pose to Keith as well. Someone wants to know, well, where do we find this link to the application, and does it cost? I mean, what do we have to pay to be a campus rep?
There are no costs to
Yep.
being a campus rep.
Not at all. You don't have to pay anything. If anything, we're just asking for your time and motivation to really kind of start branching out, talking to people. So it is just effort that we ask for, but really no cost at all. And the link is something that, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but can they find this on the CUGH website, or at least can we make it available?
Yes, that's absolutely right, Anthony. It's on the CUGH website at cugh.org.
And then just really quickly, we were talking about connecting campus reps and meetings and stuff like that. But we also have a campus rep listserv as well, where we push out information to you guys and ask for responses as well. I forgot to mention that when we were talking earlier. But you will be constantly hearing from us probably.
All right. Well, Keith, here's a question for you. We are wondering whether postdocs, faculty qualify for the campus representative program as well. And in general, do we have to be a part of a global health program as a student or otherwise in order to participate?
Well, the latter question, no, you definitely don't need to be a part of a global health program, because one of the challenges that we've had, frankly, at CUGH is to encourage individuals who are not in medicine, who are not in global health programs, but actually are doing work in global health. So, for example, engineers working in sanitation and water and public works, that's global health. Building roads, creating sanitation, access to potable water, that is global health. But sometimes people in non-medical disciplines don't, and if they're not involved in a labeled global health program, they may not identify that they're doing global health. So we've tried to be ambassadorial in trying to reach out to get all those disciplines involved in what we term global health, improving the health of people and the planet. So we've created things like, for the lawyers, we have Professor Virginia Rowthorne, who leads our global health law interest group. We have our oldest interest group run by Dr. Brittany Seymour from Harvard on oral health. So we're trying to bring medical, non-medical, social scientists, people in politics, business, public administration into what we do. So everybody involved in that broad definition of global health are absolutely invited to join what we're doing. And yes, postdocs can be part of the campus rep program.
And I just want to point out, I brought it up on the slide. Hope you guys can still see it. The sign-up form to fill out for if you want to be a CUGH institutional representative is on the bottom of this slide. And this whole webinar will be available on the CUGH website as well. But it's this link down at the bottom of the slide that I'm on right now.
So we have one final question, Jessica and Anthony, and Keith too, if you want to chime in. So there seems to be a lot of interest in this program, but understandably, folks are a little bit concerned about the amount of time it may take and how that time may need to be spent. So can you just address that a bit for us?
Yeah, so, well, I understand time restraints. I'm in my third year of medical school. I'm about to be applying for residency. Anthony is doing his clerkships right now and is on his surgery rotation. So very familiar with all the time constraints on being a trainee and then also being involved with CUGH. The hope is that by not putting strict time expectations on this position, that you guys can contribute as you're able. You know, we want you to maintain an active presence on your university, but there's no real strict time expectation of you. We just want to be able to communicate with you, so please don't drop off the grid completely. Other than that,
just to continue off of that, I'll give you an example of what we're kind of envisioning is we're not going to have set meetings where we all, like 100 of us work at the same time throughout the world. That will just that won't really work for everyone. So we're hoping to have a platform, like Keith said, where we talk, but not only talk, but we kind of have a way to, for example, Jess and I will be like, these are the things that you can do right now about this certain issue. And using this platform, we can see, all right, who has done what work? How many people have you reached out to? What things have you learned? What things can you share to everyone else in the campus representatives community? So there's a way to keep everyone accountable, to update everyone. Maybe it'll be like a workflow document, whatever it is. We have a system that we're going to set up, but it's going to be a way for everyone to continue to work, update it, let us know what's going on. Without having to always key into a meeting like on a set time and not being able to make the meeting or whatever it is. We can just have this that you do on your own time instead.
Yeah, we really just hope that you'll be able to be responsive to us, and if you can't do something, let us know, or just keep us updated on the activities that you are doing on campus. Just communication. Yeah.
It's going to be organic, but we really hope that you kind of flow with us through this.
Well, we're just to follow up on what Anthony and Jessica just said. We are acutely aware of the time constraints that you have as a student, and your studies take precedence. But what we've done here is we're really trying to create a platform, as Jessica and Anthony mentioned, to really network, to engage, to mobilize students around issues that are important to you, and how a CUGH can work with you to really have an impact, because all this is about having an impact, right? So that's our ultimate goal. And please take a look at our website, CUGH.org, for more information about the Campus Representatives Program, the TAC program. They're both doing, and the TAC is doing some incredible work, and the Campus Rep program will expand. I would like to, on behalf of all of CUGH, really thank Jessica Waters and Anthony Mai for taking the time not only to be a campus rep and a member of the TAC themselves as volunteers, but also for doing this webinar today. Thank you both, Jess and Anthony, for doing this. I'd like to thank Karen Lamb and Dalal Najjar and Rissa Koyama at the Secretariat. And thank you for actually tuning in today to our webinar. To be aware that more webinars are coming up, and you can get this webinar on our website. Download it, share it, mobilize your colleagues, and together we'll make a difference. I'm Keith Martin. Thanks for joining us at CUGH Webinar Series. Have a wonderful day.